Welcome to Sunday's service. Let's start straight away with the week's events in Paper World. And the Sun have an interesting item here, Toyota Joblo. So that's what they call it in Japan. Britain's oldest woman has died just months after her 114th birthday. It's a shame, really, as they were only halfway through giving her the bumps. In her will, she left her money to the Cats Home, her organs to medical science, and her skin to World of Leather. The Express reported that she managed to live to that age by abstaining from sex, alcohol and cigarettes. That's fair enough, but I mean, who wants to end up looking like that? A baby is safely back with its parents after being kidnapped for 14 hours. During that time, friends and neighbours rushed round to the baby's home. Not to comfort the parents, but they'd heard she had some Teletubby toys she wouldn't be needing. And GMTV have blamed their slump in viewers on the Teletubbies. The breakfast TV station is fighting back, however, with their own semi-articulate fat pink blobby thing. They're calling it Eamon. The Scottish Tories are looking for a new name. Suggestions include One Man and His Dog. And I thought Two Fat Ladies, maybe. Maybe not. Peter Mandelson is asking for suggestions for what to do with the Millennium Dome. How about shoving it up your arse? Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it was rather witty, wasn't it? We found your level, haven't we? The government has launched a new City and Guilds qualification in street cleaning. The course isn't going to be too difficult for the students. They'll just pick it up as they go along. Just looking at holiday destination temperatures around the world, Athens is 66 degrees, Orlando is 71 degrees, and the temperature on the roof at Heathrow is 190. You may have heard a fire started overnight in the Burger King at Heathrow's Terminal 1. Apparently, there was a problem with the fat fryer. He couldn't get out quick enough. Tony Blair met Jerry Adams at Number 10 for face-to-face talks. The discussions were meant to last an hour, but Jerry went off early without any warning. The Royal Yacht Britannia was decommissioned this week. The yacht is now in Manchester, and it's expected that the fixtures and fittings will be removed shortly. Apparently they've already had the radio. Prince Edward was there. That's odd, seeing him in the docks waving goodbye to an old cruiser. And there's the Queen and the rest of the royal family crying at the departure of Britannia. It's funny, because they didn't really cry very much at the... No. And a bunny rabbit has been born with no ears. The owners have called him Lugless Douglas. Yeah, a bit silly, really, because it doesn't matter what you call him, he won't come. And finally, to really know what's going on in the world, then you've got to turn to your local paper. Mrs. Denise Pepperell has sent me her copy of the Thanet Times, thanks for that, with a story of sex shame of perverts caught in public loo. And I quote, "Two men aged 76 and 55 have been found guilty of gross indecency. In defence, one of them claimed he was having an epileptic fit and the other said he was merely tying up his shoelaces." Today is there are no explorers left, no great explorers going off, and well, occasionally you get these people who retrace footsteps of expeditions from years and years ago using the original equipment. You know, you get these public school tossers who... We decided to climb Everest in our PE kit. Go, I don't care, just go. You want them to get into trouble, don't you? Can you help? We're in terrible difficulty. I'm sorry, phones haven't been invented in your little world, have they? nowhere left to explore. Space, of course. There is space, the final frontier. I love to watch the space program, and I'm interested in that. Earlier this year, you know, they sent off that rocket from French Guiana. Fantastic. I was watching that. Thank God there was no one on it. It was a satellite rocket. It was meant to get to Mars. It got 400 feet and blew up. Hey, nearly. Nice try. Yeah? No, I was watching this live on the news, and when I stopped laughing, right, I thought, now, hang on a minute. What must it be like to be the rocket scientist at this point in time? Right? That point in time where, in front of the whole world, you cross the divide between being a rocket scientist and being a crap rocket scientist. That's got to be a very bad moment in your life. You're standing there, you're watching in front all the monitors, all your colleagues around looking at you, and it blows up 200 feet in the air. What do? Do you just make light of it? Go, sorry. It must cross your mind. You'd have done better if you got a blanket, put the satellite in the middle, and got all your friends to go around and go, how high was that? Was that any better? You know what happens to these people? I reckon they leave. I reckon they leave their job with the rocket science, and I reckon they end up working for, like, Innovations magazine. I love the stuff they have. And then you see the big slipper you put both feet in? What a breakthrough. And they're always modelled by a dear old lady sitting there with both of them. It makes you sick that there are people out there who'll go and order these things for the... Yeah, Granny, look, put your feet in there. Both your feet. There you are, nice and cosy. You sit there. Just go make you a nice cup of tea. Oh, look, Granny, look what's out the window. Yeah. It worked! Who buys this stuff? Who buys this stuff? Special night vision scope, light enough to hold with one hand. Yeah, worth every penny. Worth every penny. Oh, yes, worth every penny.
The D family have always been an inventive lot. In the 40s, Boffin Bobby D lost a fortune inventing spectacles you could wear in a hurricane. Sadly, production of the Hurricane stopped just after the war.
Hi, stop it, you. Stop it, stop it. Come here, what do you think you're up to?
And finally, a success story from 1952. It's virtually unknown that Jack's second cousin, Dr. David Handkerchief D, gave his middle name to a square of white cotton material. From his extensive sneeze research, he coined the phrase, coughs and sneezes spread diseases. And to prove it, he died from a common cold.
Well, on the last show, I made this joke about East Anglia. Global warming is causing the world to heat up by 3/4 of a degree every year. Scientists predict that in the next century, the whole of East Anglia may disappear underwater. Small price to pay, I think. And I'm sorry to say I've since attracted the wrath of the Evening Star, Ipswich's local rag. This from Matthew Tackett, self-styled columnist. Says, born in Ipswich, Suffolk Sado. And I quote, "Why do so many comedians seem to enjoy insulting East Anglia? I seem to remember Martin Clune sneered at it in Men Behaving Badly. Alan Partridge also had a dig at it now. Now Jack D's gone one worse and attacked the whole region. It may have escaped your notice, Mr. D, but here in East Anglia we have plenty to boast about. Can Jack really dismiss the treasures of Bury St Edmunds? My own hometown, Ipswich, has an unrivaled collection of parks, not forgetting Christchurch Mansion, the historic Dockland, the Brewery Museum. The list goes on." No, it doesn't. It ends there. Sorry, Matt. Ipswich is one of those places where if they get a busker and a hot dog stall on the same street, they call it a festival. I would have loved to be an astronaut. That's the thing I wanted to be as a child, and I couldn't because I'm English, and we don't sound right. You know what I mean? I don't think astronauts sound good speaking English. Now, American is the space language because it's cool. They sound cool whatever they say. Houston, we have a problem. It's just cool, you know what I mean? Down to earth. Imagine an Englishman up there. Hello! Read your Part 13, come in. Bloody rocket's knackered. Do you notice the difference? You know, it doesn't sound like a sequel to the film for me, you know. From the makers of Apollo 13, we bring you Naked Rocket. See, you know, Neil Armstrong, he's first man on the moon, great hero of mine. All I can say is thank goodness he was American, because he was a smart man, he had something to say, he thought about it, was precise, everyone remembers what he said. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Thank God he wasn't an Englishman, that's all I can say. Oh, the trouble we are getting here. I thought we'd never go off the orbital, did you? Oh. All right, we'll get the flag out. We might as well do it while we're here. What do you mean you haven't got it? You packed? I can't believe you. You ruin every trip you do. You know, I just... One of the reasons I'd love to go to space is that I don't think they have enough fun when they're up there. That's the one thing that's the problem I have with the whole space program. They're so po-faced about it in NASA. They spend all this money to go up in space, and all they do is muck around with sort of growing cress and looking through their turds and stuff like that. Yeah. Come on, you can do that in your bedroom. You're in space. They should mess around more in space. They should have more fun. I'd give anything to be up in space. You know when they have two vessels that dock in space? I'd give anything to be on one of them. Wait for the little hatch to open, put on one of those rubber alien masks. I'm sorry, come on in, come on in. I'm messing around. Your face. My face? Oh, shit, me spacesuit. Okay, it's time to put another celebrity to the Sunday service microwave test to join that great omelette in the sky. This week, it's the turn of the man who has fought sharks barehanded, suffered torture by lasers, saved the world from nuclear destruction, and survived being played by George Lazenby. He is, of course, James Bond. But there have been 5 of them, so who is the coolest Bond of the bunch? Will it be the original, some say the best of the Bonds, former milkman Sean Connery, there he is, or the big Aussie, George Lazenby, who, oh dear, he's been dropped after one movie. Or will it be old wonky eyebrow Roger Moore, who was the Saint and now looks like a Teletubby? Or will it be the classically trained Timothy Dalton? There we are, to Bond or not to Bond. The man who fills the spy shoes at the present. Here's Pierce Brosnan. Right. So, how will the man who likes it shaken but not stirred survive a few minutes at high power in my ultimate scrambling device? Let's see.
Bond. James Bond.
What a great job driving fast cars, betting glamorous girls, drinking all day. I'd love to be Chris Evans, I really would. Yeah. When Sean was a milkman, he used to get a bit of practice, apparently. He said, my name's Milkman. How would you like your yogurt, Madam Shaken or Stirred? You know, Bob Holness was the original James Bond on the radio. Yeah, I can't think why they never asked him when they went into films. You know, can I have a cue, please, Em? I always thought Roger Moore would make an excellent town crier. Now hear this. 10 o'clock and all's well. After George Lazenby, they said even a chimp could play 007. Hello, my name's Bond, Brooke Bond. I'm licensed to throw turds at you. And the new Bond film has a villain that's a cross between Blofeld and Oddjob. You probably guessed what they've called him. Yes, Oddfeld. Well, I can tell you now that Timothy is sweating. Sweating real tears of egg white. Pierce is looking very cool, I have to say. He's looking very cool. Sean is positively enjoying himself in there. Oh dear, something's happened. Someone's enjoying it more than they should. There you are, you see. Now, you may have noticed that was a rather quiet explosion because I put a silencer on the microwave. Well, there it was. It was Pierce Brosnan. Oh, Pierce. Pierce was the first to leave his ejector seat. Well, there you have it. And one of the hardest things about any relationship is like meeting their folk. I think it's the hardest thing. Meeting your partner's parents is the worst thing. And I didn't get on with my in-laws for a long time because first time we met, we all sat down and play Scrabble. We had to sit down and play Scrabble, you know. And I got stuck on my letters. I had nothing. All I could put was blowjob. That's all I could put. And it was her gran was at the end of the table. She's like a bird of prey, kind of watching over me. Every time I moved, she go, ah! Yeah, she was spooky. She took us to a seance. That's what she did, yeah. You deserve a nice day out. I'm going to take you to a seance. You were sitting there. I don't know if you've ever been to a seance. We're all sitting in this sort of like semi-darkness and all holding hands with these people. And there's someone going, is anybody there? Is anybody there? And there's this guy, Kevin, who reckoned he could speak in tongues. He starts going, and they go, yeah, who is it? He said, it's Uncle David, you know, in his best other person's voice he could manage. And if you go to a seance, don't eat sprouts or anything like that for at least a month before you go, because I promise you, one fart, the whole show is over. It is hard enough to keep a straight face at a seance with all these people holding your hanger, and anybody there, and some bastard goes, and this will happen, and I lost it. I started giggling, and you want your hands back to cover your face when you start laughing, and they just held on tighter and tighter. And they go, oh, someone's come to Jack. I go, who is it? It's Jimi Hendrix! Jimi Hendrix! Well, Christmas is almost upon us now.
Ooh, this is some caravan, Jack.
What?
This is some caravan. You ever take this baby out on the road? What's the fastest you ever had this thing up to? 30, 35, 40?
What are you talking about?
This week I decided to set the world land speed caravan record. Untowed.
I had no idea it was such a record. You had to go, did you? Untowed.
World land speed record.
In a caravan?
In a caravan. This is the Sausage Roll 2. No need to ask what happened to Sausage Roll 1. Better left unexplained. Now, once I decided that it had to be self-propelled, the caravan, I decided to mount the engine right up underneath the toilet. My choices were either alcohol-fueled, jet fuel, or nitrous oxide, and I went with nitrous oxide because I know some dentists who could supply it. As you can see, this is a normal caravan for all intents and purposes until you step into here. Then it all changes. Damn, this always gets stuck. I've been through a lot of design changes, and finally decided this was best for me to sit here in the toilet, facing in the opposite direction at the back of the caravan, because there's less drag that way. This is all reinforced roll cage bar. This is the thruster. This is all there is. Off, on, supersonic, and incidentally, this also flushes the toilet. All right. Well, this is it. 0 hour.
Good luck, Rocket Daddy.
Yeah. I feel calm. I feel surprisingly calm right this second. Feel good. Feel good. All right. Go! What'd you get? 175, that's what I had. 175.
53.2 miles an hour.
53.2 record! Yeah! Oh, there's really something go. Thank you.
Here's your chance to ask Jack D anything you ever wanted to ask him.
Well, okay, it's time to see who's been in my box this week. Who have we got?
Hi Jack, this is extremely embarrassing, but I have a recurring sexual fantasy of you coming to me dressed in your penguin suit.
Is it you, is it? Yeah.
Hello, Jack. This is a message for you. I brought my ex-wife to see you today because she thinks you're a bit of a dish. I'm here, on the other hand, because the tickets were free.
I wonder why she divorced you. And such a looker as well. And how long ago when was the happy occasion?
Well, it was happier than the wedding, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, it was a nice day.
I see, yes. You're mad, aren't you? Yeah.
Hang on a minute, just be quiet a minute.
Oh, is it? A child impressionist.
Sit down, be quiet. Be quiet, he's a good boy. Only for a minute, all right?
Oh, he's trying to be nice to him now. It's like... I'm going to hand this over to the police afterwards, I think. Go on, then.
Have you ever felt up anyone with breast implants? If so, what do they feel like?
Well, it's the kid I feel sorry for. It's like one of those goldfish that that sticks itself to the window, cleans it as it goes around.
Jack, what do you think about Scotland?
I think it's lovely. Now go home, rent boy.
I just come back from Kenya, and basically I'd really appreciate it if you told my girlfriend, Bernadine, that I love her loads and loads.
So, your girlfriend is sitting next to you? Yeah. I knew I'd seen you before. You were trying to get something out of the machine in the loos, weren't you? What was that? He loves you. He really does. He loves you so much that he's brought you here and he's embarrassed you on national television. What a thoughtful guy. You want to meet her over there and find out how you get divorced from him?
Jack, my wife's up duff. Now, does that mean I'm a man or what?
Your wife's up the duff, is she? And does that mean you're a man or not?
Yeah.
Depends if it's yours or not, really, doesn't it? So when is the baby due?
3rd of October.
3rd of October? What are you expecting, an elephant? Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for joining me this week. Before we go, a sneak preview of the making of my very special song for Christmas, which you can see in full exclusively next week.
Some child's room. Now, let's have another talk about it, come on.
I just want it to be mostly me, that's all.